Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This hearing before the New Britain Township Zoning Hearing Board is called to order. Preparation for business this evening. I ask everyone in attendance, please silence your cell phones and place them in do not disturb mode. That means me too. And for your information, this, like all township meetings, are now being recorded and shared via virtual meeting this evening. Some introductions. To my right, my far right is Ryan Gaiman. He is Assistant Zoning Hearing Officer, followed by TJ Walsh. He's a solicitor for the Zoning Hearing Board. Kathy Basili is a member of the Zoning Hearing Board. Scott Fisher, member of the Zoning Hearing Board. Ryan Wantz is an alternate to the Zoning Hearing Board, and we have Sean Gresh is the solicitor for the township. Thank you very much. And Jeannie tonight will be our stenographer. My name is Chuck Hoxhead. I'll be chairing this evening's proceeding. The New Britain Township Zoning Hearing Board is a quasi-judicial body required by statute of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and created by the New Britain Township Board of Supervisors. This board is chartered with a single responsibility to provide due process to the citizens of New Britain Township to appeal zoning and engineering decisions made by the township. The zoning ordinance was created and is maintained by the New Britain Township Board of Supervisors. This zoning hearing board has no jurisdiction over the contents of the zoning ordinance. We ask that any concerns regarding the contents of the zoning ordinance be directed to the Board of Supervisors. The procedures for tonight's hearing shall be as follows. This proceeding shall be conducted in a manner similar to that of a court hearing, and all testimony shall be recorded by our stenographer. All affected parties shall have an opportunity to present factual testimony this evening, and all testimony must be given under oath. Only the facts and testimony presented to the board during this hearing will be considered. The board will first hear the applicant's presentation of their case. The board expects the applicant to state the unnecessary hardship, how the proposal will not be detrimental to the public welfare, and any other grounds the applicant believes support the application. The board will also hear from any other individuals who wish to become parties to this hearing. After the testimony is concluded, the board will hear from anyone who simply wishes to make a statement or ask a question that is relevant to the hearing. Depending on the length of the hearing, the board may or may not make a decision on the applications this evening. Our first application on the agenda this evening is for the application for Brett and Nicole White at 101 Michaels Court. Mr. Gaiman, will you please read the public notice and place the application on record?
Please take notice that the New Britain Township Zoning Hearing Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, December 15th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the New Britain Township Municipal Building, 207 Park Avenue, Shopmont, PA, to consider the application of Brett and Nicole White for the property located at 101 Michaels Court, New Britain Township, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, identified as tax map parcel number 26359. Property is located in the RR Residential Zoning District. Property is improved with a detached single-family dwelling improved as part of a cluster subdivision, use B2. The applicants propose an addition to the existing dwelling. The applicants seek a variance from section 27903A of the New Britain Township zoning ordinance to permit front yard setback of 30 feet, where the required minimum setback is 40 feet.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Mr. Walsh, can you please read the board exhibits?
Sure. Board exhibits are as follows. Exhibit B1 is the zoning hearing board application. Included with the application was the current deed and a list of surrounding property owners. Exhibit B2 is site plan. It is 2 sheets prepared by Form Architecture, bearing a date of August 17th, 2022, last revised August 31st. B3 is a letter to the intelligencer. B4 is the public notice that was just read into the record. B5 is proof that the public notice was published in the December 1st and December 8th, 2022 editions of the intelligencer. Exhibit B6 is a letter to the applicants advising them of and providing them notice of this hearing. Exhibit B7 is the township's list of property owners of record that are within 500 feet of the property that's the subject of the application, and is attached to that list is a map of those properties. Exhibit B8 is an affidavit of mailing that notice of this hearing was mailed to the property owners listed on Exhibit B7. That notice was mailed on November 28th, 2022 by Ryan Gaiman. Exhibit B9 is an affidavit of posting The notice of this hearing was posted on the property on December 2nd, 2022 at 10:08 a.m. by Ryan Gaiman. And with that affidavit is a photograph of the posting itself. Lastly, Exhibit B10 is a copy of the Bucks County Viewer map and aerial of the property. Those are the board exhibits.
Thank you. Are you Mr. and Mrs. White?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, please. Is everyone else here for the 1100 Horizon Circle hearing?
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Does Township have any position on this application?
Township has no position in this application.
Okay, then I will dispense with the party status speech.
That's why I was asking. Fantastic. Thank you.
Could you both be sworn in if
Yes.
you're both going to testify? Jeannie?
Please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Nicole White.
Brett White.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's off now.
We'll hear your case. You may present.
Okay, my husband and I moved into the house in 2005. At the time, you know, we were thinking years from then, we would try and build a very small house. We weren't aware of township rules that if a part of your house faces a street, then it's considered a front yard also. So as we were looking into adding anywhere we could, there was only really one spot to go, and that is towards Green Valley Way. My house is already over the setbacks. On pretty much, let me see here, on both sides and in the true front yard. So we would like to put a 10-foot addition on the side facing Green Valley Way. We have a white vinyl fence right now, so basically it won't impede any of the neighbors because all we're doing is taking parts of the fence down and moving it down so that it goes to the end of the house. That side yard is basically unlivable. There's nothing to do there, you know, because of the township rules and stuff like that. And it's just unusable space.
So basically your house is already non-conforming according to page A1 of your plan. I mean, it looks as if your property setbacks appear to be going through the middle of your kitchen, living room. What do you have any idea of what year your house was built?
1991.
91. It's not.
I think what happened, and this is just my opinion, is that they built the development and then there was a little piece of property on my corner and then also on Nicholas Court, the corner there. So they put the two smallest houses right on there, and I don't think they followed much of the rules at the time. But there's only one other house. It looks like mine. It's on the corner of Nicholas.
The regulations could have changed since then. too.
Yeah, I'm not aware what they were at the time. I just assumed.
Nobody is. Yeah. It's going to be a one-story addition and it looks like it's going to just sort of make your living and dining room area bigger, more usable.
Yes.
How high is your fence?
6 feet. 6 feet
6 feet.
privacy fence. Because we have an in-ground pool that was there before we purchased the house.
And that fence won't, we're not moving that fence, we're just taking out sections of it where the addition will be.
Will the addition basically be coming out to where the fence is now? And then you'll just have the fence terminate at the
Yeah,
end of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, the front part of it will be taken out.
Got it. It won't continue past the house to Michael's Court.
No, and there's still
Yeah.
a good amount of property to, from where the addition is to the end of our fence.
Okay, but it'll just, it goes around the pool, then it'll terminate basically at the new
Yes.
far corner of the house.
Yes.
What will the new setback be off of, I'm going between,
Off
Documents.
of Great Valley.
um. Off of Green Valley Way,
Okay, well, currently it's at 36.9.
right?
So if we add 10 onto that, it would be 26.9.
On this. All right, so I'm just trying to get my arms around what the numbers you just said. So the plan is showing a 40-foot setback, which is usually measured from, not usually, in a case like this, it's measured from the right of way line. It's not measured like all the way to the street. Okay, so the 40-foot line here does look like it's past, it's on your side of the sidewalk, which makes sense. Then that goes to, as Ms. Basili said, somewhere in your living room and dining. Okay, so the existing setback, if you had to measure it from the current wall position to that same sort of imaginary line just past the sidewalk, what's that dimension? That existing dimension, if you know. But don't, wait a minute, it might be on this very small legend here.
Ryan has the digital version, if that helps you make it bigger.
No, it says,
Even with my glasses.
it says. It doesn't help. It says minimum front yard greater than 40 feet, which we know is wrong. At least as far as Green Valley Wayside is concerned. On the Michael's Court, it's correct. Actually, it's only correct for part of the house.
Correct. That's.
It's not like- I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's the garage.
Okay, so the number I was trying to wrap my head around was
I
that,
didn't understand your question.
so there's a distance from the wall of your house now to that setback starting point line. It's less than 40 feet. Do you know what that is? What that,
36.9.
36.9, okay. And you said you're gonna add 10 feet, so you're taking it down to 26.9, okay. Because the notice and in the application, we had 40 feet and 30 feet.
Yes, at the time that I filled the application out, in the meantime, I got official numbers from the architect that drew this up.
That's fine,
So that I had.
okay.
And sort of show that it already looked at the setbacks.
So you'd like your application amended to reflect those actual numbers?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Not a problem, okay.
And the current shed that's there was gonna remain in the same spot?
It's going to be turned. Now it opens into the yard. It would actually open towards our house. So we're leaving it in the same corner, but just kind of turning it 180 degrees.
Okay. But basically the same
Yeah.
site or
And we're
same
just
area.
doing that. So there's room for a gate there,
Mhm,
because we have to move our gate down because of the addition.
mhm.
And if I read this right, it looks like your impervious surface is actually going, I'm sorry,
It's going up, but they're
going
still
up,
below.
but
the
it's
roof.
still below.
Yep,
Okay,
at least according to the
that.
legend.
Any other questions?
I do not.
Nope.
For 35%.
Okay.
So under.
We'll go off the record. Go back on the record. Okay.
I'd like to make a, well, I guess there's nobody here to ask anyway. I was gonna say, we have to open it up?
No.
No.
Nope, there is nothing more.
Sorry, I'd like to make a motion to grant the variance as proposed due to the hardships that were presented this evening. And then you have to follow all the rest of the regulations for building and whatnot, but I make that motion.
I have a second.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, you have relief. You'll get a written decision within 45 days of today. Hopefully it'll be sooner than that. But you can talk to Ryan and anybody at the township about continuing your project along the way.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Have a good night.
Good night. Good night.
Okay. The next matter on our agenda this evening will be the continued hearing for 1100 Horizon Circle. And you may make your way up to.
You don't have to stay if you don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you want to, and you
Go
want
home.
to.
Yeah, you don't have to stay.
And if I make it, I'll end up on the news tomorrow and I don't want that.
Okay,
Welcome,
No.
welcome.
the last hearing was on this we opened the hearing, the board did on October 20th.
Mhm.
Mr. Pritesh Patel and Sahil Patel were both sworn in and testified, and I see Sahil here, right? And Pritesh is here too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now I see other people, so we'll get to them in a second. The hearing at the time was continued with directions for the applicants to compile a more definitive plan showing some of the detail that's required under the ordinance. And I believe there are some exhibits that did come in between the October date and today, and we'll certainly let you introduce those in the context of your continued presentation. But don't feel you have to restart it because we've heard.
Yeah, I
So,
did,
as Mr. Walsh said, Mr. Patel, you remain under oath. Who else will be testifying today?
so Tejas Patel.
Okay, will you please be sworn?
Tejas, T-E-J-A-S.
TEJAF. Can you please raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please state your name for the record.
Tejas Patel.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I wasn't here for the last hearing, so this is Mr. Patel, which was.
Pritesh,
Pritesh.
Okay,
and this is the gentleman in the jacket and the yellow sweater is Sahil.
and can I have the spelling of your name, please?
S-A-H-I-L.
Yeah, it's from October 24th.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may continue.
So yes, I did submit the drawing from architect to the Ryan and brochure for the adult daycare and a list of activity. I also have a copy of that if you want a copy of the.
Okay, well, let's take them one at a time because we're gonna mark them,
Oh, yeah.
but I'll let you, which one are you gonna talk about first?
The drawing.
Okay, so we'll mark that as A1, which is convenient because it says A1 on the bottom of it. Okay. So that'll be your first, that's A1. Now, what would you like to be A2?
The brochure.
That's, okay, so the
Brochure. Mhm.
A1, then let me just, so Jeannie has this. A1 is a one sheet plan,
Mr. Walsh,
yes,
didn't we mark 11 exhibits the first time through? Should we number this sequentially 12?
I don't have any applicant exhibits.
Applicant, okay, I understand. Those are the board exhibits. Thank you.
A1 is a plan called Proposed Adult Daycare. It's prepared by Gauk Architects. And I'm looking for a date on it. The
12/8/22.
Thank you. The origination date is December 8th, 2022. Okay. A2 is the brochure that Pritesh just referred to. It is a 2-page colored brochure. It is essentially a, well, it's like a six panel page, and what appears to be the first page, if you folded it up, would be titled Adult Daycare Group Consultants. Okay. What would you like
And
next?
the other one is the list of activity for the
Okay, that's A3.
A3.
A3 will be a one page sheet. It's titled Activities Calendar. And it has a Thanksgiving turkey on it. That's
It
something.
was just like a proposed for the November month, so it's gonna be like that for every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also have one other exhibit that came in, which is, I would mark this as A4. I mean, I could consider it a board exhibit, but I think it's better if it's under an applicant exhibit. A4 is a letter dated December 12th, 2022 from Lenape's Properties Management.
That's the owner, that agreement that he's aligned with what it was the proposed plan that we have on the drawing.
Okay, the applicant, I'll let you offer testimony on it, but you just summarized it. It's essentially a letter from the landlord saying they support the prospective tenant's variance application. Okay, so we have A1 through A4.
So for the drawing, as we requested, so there is an open activity area, which is like about 2,290 square feet, and one entertainment room, which is 250 square feet. And there is other 4 room, which is gonna be 1 library room, 1 prayer room, and 2 quiet room. Which has requested 20% recreational activity area, so that will be utilized for that open space and including.
Why put that recreational area?
Mhm.
Go ahead. Finish what you said.
So that's open space, entertainment room, library room, prayer room, and quiet room would be included for that recreational activity for that adult daycare center. There is a pickup and drop off location marked on outside parking lot, and also the transportation dedicated parking for the transportation vehicle. It's on the left hand side of that parking area.
That's where the transportation vehicle will park.
Correct.
Where's the drop off and whatnot?
It's in the front of the
Oh, I see it. Okay.
yeah.
Is there an entrance to the unit from the front and the back?
Yeah, but we will going to use only the front end point for anybody that's going into the building.
Okay.
For all the pickup and drop off and everything gonna be managed through the front entrance. And then the double door. It's like an airlock, and the front door will be remain locked once all the adults inside the building.
So if you can just clarify that, so you have. With the double door, is the double door facing County Line Road?
Correct.
Okay, and that is the one that will remain locked.
That's remain locked, yes.
Okay,
And there is gonna be an office next to there with the window, so every visitor has to sign in there with the ID and then they can enter the building.
see, okay. I'm oriented, there's County Line Road.
Right, so county line.
I had
road
it backwards
is
in
the
my
front.
brain.
Oh, okay.
I had you on the other side of the building when you were here last time. Very good, thank you.
Is it anticipated that any of your potential customers would drive themselves to the center, or would it want to be picked up and dropped off in the vehicle?
Excuse me.
Most likely it's all gonna be picked up and dropped off.
What about if they have family? Could family drop them off, or will it just be by bus service?
It's gonna be by the transportation service.
You know, how large is the bus?
Say 12 or 10 passengers.
Hold on, go ahead.
So it's 10 or 12 people passenger van. It's not like big van.
Oh, okay.
So it's not really,
Yeah,
not
it's
a big
just
one.
a small bus. The reason behind is that is because of it's a senior.
Sorry, yeah, You
Yeah,
both can't talk. at the
you just
same
have to
time.
slow down a little so she can get it
And
all.
don't talk over each other.
So the reason behind is that is for the seniors. So we don't want anybody like 15 or 20 people in the bus. So that's why we cut down 10 to 12 maximum senior people can sit inside the bus.
And just for my edification, your role in the organization is,
Yes, so I'm the partner, my wife is the partner, for this adult daycare, so I'm just helping out, so right now. She
okay,
gets a
so
big-
your wife is the partner
Correct.
and you're here to testify as a witness. Okay, very good. Thank you.
So if the bus can only transport 10 or 12, what do we call them, patients, what do you call them, clients or clients? How many clients do you anticipate having in your 4,000 some square foot building?
So that's depend on Pennsylvania state, but right now we estimated around 40 to 45 people. So more than 45 people, Pennsylvania state doesn't allow to want to spot them.
So the bus will be coming and going
So
in
it
theory.
might be we
Yes.
have 2 or 3 bus, that's all.
And it's gonna be picked up and drop off. It's different county, so we are gonna be like around different county and they can be in a different time too. It's not gonna be like same time.
It'll be staggered.
Okay, so you said something about you're gonna have about 3 buses. But I'm only seeing one location to park them.
And 4 locations. It's 4 parking spots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just turned sideways, so I thought that was like supposed to replicate like a bus.
Okay,
No, I
yes,
don't
that's
think-
what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, but if they're,
You had like a little triangle. I thought that, and that's why I
I
was
thought that
thinking
was supposed to be.
you were
like
having a
bus.
really large like school bus. I was like,
No, the
whoa.
buses will still head into that space
Mhm.
and back out. Okay, so they're more like vans.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, larger.
Okay,
I just saw the,
okay, yeah, then those spaces,
I
will-
thought that was
what I
supposed to be
thought at
like-
first too.
Right.
those spaces will be
I
more
thought
than
that was
5.
supposed to be like the bus itself.
I was thinking bachelor party bus or something.
But we have enough parking in the, premises as well.
You
It's not
have
like-
parking
We have enough parking in the premises as well,
in the where?
in the building.
On the site.
around the building.
Premises, he said.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many staff members do you anticipate hiring to work in the center?
So that's in a brochure that we will have like 1 director, nurse, CNA, activity coordinator, social worker, driver and dietitian.
So like 8
A dietitian.
dietitian. So about 8?
Yeah, 8 to 10. I would say.
Will the drivers stay at the site?
Yes,
So you'll have,
because it's gonna be different time, so they will be there from in the site from whatever the working hours from 8 to 4, and they will be on the site.
so the drivers are in addition to that 8 staff that's more there for the care facility.
Yes.
Are the drivers just bringing them to the facility and then bringing them home? Or are there, places that they would go like trips day or not? You're not sure, or
What do you mean by trips? Like taking adults to the different trips? or something?
either bringing them to an appointment or for a trip, you know,
Like
maybe they're going to
shopping.
see a show or something like that.
Yeah, there will be some activity for like visiting the shopping mall or like a temple or park, and that driver will be used for that activity as well.
Okay. So all of your activity. Recreation, you know, I see that, so you're not gonna plan on anything outside.
Correct.
The state regulations speak to inside versus outside
I don't think so.
recreation, like do the regulations lean or say, no, all the residents need to be maintained inside of the building, they do not want them outside? I mean, we're not familiar with the state regs.
I'm not sure about the outside, but I think there is no specific requirement for outdoor recreational activity on the state regulation.
So we hired the consultant for the application as well to the state.
I'm sorry, you,
So we have the consultant to application for the state for the daycare, but she can't make it today. So she knows the procedure, and then that we know that there is no PA state require any outside activity.
there's no what, no,
No PA state requirement.
Pennsylvania state, they don't require any outside recreation activities.
And you can feel free to speak to the stenographer. I appreciate your respect, but the record is really, really important too, so please feel free. I understand that those regulations, that's outside of our jurisdiction. And so your testimony is sufficient for that. So you don't need to make excuses for the fact that the person couldn't make it, so.
I just wanted to make sure if you were planning something, I didn't see it.
No, there is no any outdoor activity planned yet.
You have any questions?
Scott, you have any questions? of these
questions?
witnesses?
I do, and if I'm asking questions, are both gentlemen gonna be answering?
Depends, I guess, on who you address the
Well,
question to.
I'm only asking because. All right. Gentlemen, am I correct that there's been no alterations to the site since our last hearing on October the 20th?
Correct, there is no alteration to the site.
It looks exactly the same as it did on that day, correct?
Correct.
So your testimony from that day regarding how the site currently looks, it would be the same if it was asked of you again today?
Correct.
Okay, there's no fencing that's been added or anything like that?
No.
Am I correct that you'll only be accepting clients that ride your buses to and from the location?
That's not true. I mean, sometimes if people wanted to come, they are most welcome to come, but we have the limitation that, okay, that you have to use the bathroom for the services, because it's sometimes required as a Pennsylvania state. The reason behind is that it's a senior ride, so we want to make sure they don't fall. We have to take care of the clients that they come inside, because whenever the bus stop, our caregiver or somebody's gonna come outside, and then they can take the client inside the facility.
But am I,
Well, his question is, if it's a client,
Mhm.
he or she, are they getting to your facility by the bus, or will some family member drop them off?
No, they're gonna use the bus.
so if I had a family member that I wanted to bring to the facility and give them a ride every day, you would not accept that client?
We can accept that. It's not that it's not specific requirement, but we will have option for the transportation, and we would like to use our service if needed. So we make sure that we give them all the care they need and they are safe and.
But you certainly wouldn't reject it.
Correct.
Okay,
But would
So-
you, I'm sorry, Mr.
Go
Griffin,
ahead,
interrupt, but just so I understand, so, but if the board were to say that transportation is required by the bus, that would be acceptable?
Yeah.
And if you felt that you had too many demands or requests, and you needed to modify that because people wanted to drop them off individually, you could come back to this board and ask for a modification of that. You follow what I'm saying?
So like if somebody wants to drop it off, I have to make sure request to the board for that modification.
Let me just back it up. So the initial testimony I thought I heard we say was if their client, when Tejas was testifying, if their client, they're taking that bus. Okay, now in Mr. Gresh's cross-examination, saying, well, maybe they might not take the bus. Maybe we'll work with them, something out with them where they can drive, have a family member drive and drop them off. So I'm asking if the board says, well, look, to control the traffic and the flow through it, your clients need to take the buses that you're going to provide. And that would be a condition of the relief they might grant. I'm not signaling anything. I'm just talking. Okay. And then as you get up and running, if the bus works, great. You said that would probably be what you want to do, is have them take the bus. But then if you get demands over the course of your operations, 3 months, 6 months, you would have to refuse the people who say, no, you can't drop them off. They're going to take the bus. But if you get enough requests and you say, you know, we might need to modify this, then you would need to come back here and ask for modification. And at that time, the board would be able to evaluate anything that might mitigate issues there. The township might be able to come in and question a bit more. So you see how
I see what you mean.
logically that follows?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not logically, but how that follows. Logic is,
So if I have to make a modification, I have to make sure I follow with the township and.
that's correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Gray.
That's all right, thank you. I believe, gentlemen, you testified you anticipate 40 to 45 clients at any given time. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is there a state regulation that sets a ratio of how much staff to clients you must have on the premises?
There is a state regulation. It says that how many client allow based on the square feet and area, yes.
Right. But is there, I understand what you're saying, that based on your square footage, you're only allowed to have so many clients. I'm not asking you that. What I'm asking you is there a separate state regulation that says if you have 40 clients, you must have X number of staff? Or one staff member for every X clients? Is there a regulation like that?
I have to double check the state regulation on that. I'm not sure about that regulation. But that's why we have hired a consultant and she will follow up and make sure we compliance with the state regulation when we apply for the state license application.
I understand. So if the regulation requires a higher staff ratio, you would make sure you had the sufficient number of employees to handle that staff ratio. Okay. I believe you already testified you don't plan any activities outside the building, is that right?
That's right.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, the bus or a car will pull up to the loading area that you described on your plan. And then staff will come out and usher the clients inside the facility?
Yes.
And then they'll stay there for as long as they stay there. The bus will park. And then they'll go about their activities. You'll be feeding them inside?
Yes.
Am I correct that you have no designs on any walking paths or benches of any kind or anything like that outside for the clients?
No.
No, I'm not correct, or no, you don't have any plans?
We don't have any plan for outside.
Thank you.
Jeannie, you can just pick one. They're both answering. I don't care which.
I'm putting number down.
Okay.
Gentlemen, the front doors that face County Line Road. Would you agree with me that according to your plan, the parking lot is approximately 64 feet wide in front of that front door?
There is not measurement having there, so.
But I don't want to mislead you. I'm referring to the document A1 that you introduced this evening. Right in front of the front door, it appears to measure the length of the parking spot to be 20 feet. The width of the driving lane between the parking spots to be 24 feet. And the width of the opposing parking, or the length of the opposing parking space to be also 20 feet. By my math, that would be 64 feet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what. you're
Okay.
saying. Mhm.
After that 64 feet, can you tell me how wide the berm is between the far end of the parking lot there and County Line Road itself?
So between the walkway and the parking lot?
Yes. On the County Line Road side.
I would say about 15 to 20 feet, like in between space. I'm not exact, but I would say about 15.
And I believe you told us last time you were here that there's a hill there. It's not flat. Is that right?
It's slight hill, it's not that long hill, but it's slightly hilly. Yeah.
Is the facility above or below County Line Road if I'm looking at that?
It's a little bit higher,
The facility's higher than County
a
Line Road.
little bit higher than.
So would you agree that County Line Road is within 100 feet of the front door?
Yeah, I think so.
And as of now, you don't plan to put any fence there or anything like that. Is that right? Correct. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Oh, anything? Anything? You have anything further to present?
Just we did like some survey in surrounding it.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We just did like some survey in the surrounding area where
Okay.
there is a,
Survey.
the next building, there is a pharmacy, there is a medical office, and we did not see any fence in that, building location.
Any what in the building location?
Fence.
No fence
Fence.
in that building location. Also, there's one, hospital just right next to the active building, and it's same on the county line. And we did not see any fence up there as either. And there is one daycare in next to the 1700 Horizon Drive. It's a kid, I think it's a children daycare, and there is no fence. We did not see it there, so. I have some pictures if you wanna take a look.
It's up to you. If you'd like to introduce them, you can hand them up. We'll mark them.
Oh, yeah.
Did you show them to Mr. Gresh if that's your own? Is it your only copy?
I have two copies.
Oh, okay. Well, you just show them to him first.
Thank you.
We'll mark this collectively as. Okay, well, wait a minute. Let's see. Some of this,
It's, like,
all right, I'm gonna, it's, some of it's. Some of it's repetitive.
it's all them is visibility, yeah.
But okay, this, I can't mark this whole thing because it's like this, but so you, would you like the pictures marked?
Yeah.
Not, can I, so there's, if I'm looking at this. It's about, I mean, the whole document's about 10 pages, but there appears to be 3 pages. Of pictures. And you would like those marked,
That's it.
okay, so we will mark 3 pages that are the pictures collectively as A5. And they show. Did you take these pictures? Yes. When did you take them?
In November, this is like last month.
Within the last 30 days?
Yeah.
45 days?
Yeah.
Okay. And,
November, so last week of November.
and you have the pictures you took that day, you haven't done, this represents as you took them that day? You haven't done anything to the photo since you took it to digitally alter its appearance?
Yeah, that will change.
There were 3 sheets show collectively 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 8. Vestiges of neighboring or not necessarily neighboring, but commercial businesses. Some of them are along County Line Road. Others are in the Horizon Commons. I know I see one adult daycare that's not even close to your use, but it's that's off Manor Drive. That's in the Highlands.
Yeah, second picture is for other daycare in the Chalfont area.
Okay,
Where we did not see like any dedicated drop-off pickup location, so we are there just to like observe from outside and
those are the photos on the second page of B5, excuse me, A5 you're referring to?
correct.
Okay.
The first two pictures is adult daycare in the Chalfont County.
So on the second page of A5, the one that says other daycare at the top of it,
Yeah.
that is in Chalfont Borough.
Mhm.
And then the middle one that says adult daycare in Chalfont, that's in the Highlands, that's on Manor Drive, right?
Correct.
And then the bottom one is,
It's just a medical building. It's next to the 1700.
yes, it's Grandview Hospital building. Okay. Does anybody, you guys want to see all this? I know I'm,
We're looking at one.
oh, are you? Okay.
They've been passing it down.
Okay. Okay, do you have anything to add on this, these photos? Okay. Anything else to add?
No.
Mr. Gress, do you have any questions about these photos? Okay. Okay, Mr. Gress, do you have any witnesses or evidence you'd like to?
No
present?
witnesses or evidence, sir.
Okay. You want to go off the record?
Yeah.
All right, board's gonna go off the record. I mean, unless you want to, closing statements really.
Plus, we'll follow the procedure. I mean, if they have none, they have none. So
Procedures. Okay, we're gonna go off the record. The board's gonna go into the room to deliberate.
I defer to you. on that.
Okay, we don't need.
We'll go back on the record.
We have one item we would like clarification on. At the first hearing in October, you said that the hours would be compliant with what the ordinance states. We just wanted to confirm that that's true.
That's true, yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be 7 to, yeah.
Okay. All right, so the board then has deliberated with that clarification. The board would recommend, the recommended motion for the board would be as follows. The variance from subsection A, for regarding the passive open space, that would be granted, to the extent, it requires any outdoor recreation space. B, it was granted as to the fence, the hours of operation, that is considered withdrawn because it's compliant. The variance to obtain any Pennsylvania state agencies, that's denied. And the conditionally will grant the variance as to the stacking lane only. Stacking lane only. And the conditions of the relief granted above are as follows. The use will be conducted in accordance with the definitive plans that were introduced in evidence tonight, which are A1 and A2, I believe. Or just A1, I think the plan was a 2-sheet. There would be no outside recreation areas per your representation. The maximum occupancy of the building for clients and employees would be per state regulations. You would have the minimum number of employees as required for the maximum number of occupants you can have. The drop off and the pickup for the beginning of the day when clients arrive and for the end of the day when they're picked up, or whatever the end of the day is for that specific day, and at any other peak times throughout the day, that would be exclusively done by the buses, the transit vans that the use operates. If you have other one-off type of situations, we recognize you can't hold a client hostage. If a family member needs to come for whatever purpose, that's acceptable. But if you want to modify the condition as to the peak pickup, drop off description, that will need to come back for the board to make for a presentation of how you plan to modify that. And in fact, if you want any of the other conditions modified, you would need to make another application to the board. Okay, that would be the recommended motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I will second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you have conditional relief. You will get a written decision within 45 days of today. And you know, you may need to consult with some outside experts or outside attorneys to advise you as to where the case goes from there. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you all for coming.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck with your
Drive
business.
safely.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone. Never asked if any of those other guys wanted to talk, but
Just there.
I think they were just there.
Moral support. I think they would
Huh?
have let us know.
We are adjourned. Well, I don't adjourn, the elder chairman does.
Yes.
Senior crotchety
Which we
chairperson.
discovered in the room that
adjourns.
Chuck's the oldest.